The deal is done. Steelers Nation superstar edge rusher T.J. Watt has been locked up for at least the next 4 years here in Pittsburgh. He gets a massive, record-setting 3-year contract extension to keep him in Pittsburgh through the 2028 campaign. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. This is our breaking news instant reaction video to the T.J. Watt contract extension. Click that subscribe button because this is why you subscribe to the channel. Whenever big news hits, we're going to have breaking news coverage for you guys. I mean, when the Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith trade went down, I was in my mother's basement when that went down, and we went live 30 minutes later, all right? So whenever big news happens, whether I'm in the studio here when breaking news hits or whether I'm on vacation, whatever the case may be, our promise to you guys is we're getting you breaking news coverage absolutely for free on this channel. So click that subscribe button if you never want to miss a big story. So Adam Schefter from ESPN was the one that got the scoop today, saying ESPN sources, Steelers star T.J. Watt has become the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history for the second time in his illustrious career, reaching agreement today on a 3-year, $123 million extension that includes $108 million fully guaranteed at signing. The $41 million per year average is the highest of any non-quarterback in NFL history. The deal has been in the works between CAA Sports and the Steelers front office for months. So TJ gets his extension, and he gets his guaranteed dollars, and that really was the sticking point in this deal. Now, I think that TJ probably preferred to get a 4-year extension, and the Steelers preferred either a 2 or a 3-year extension, and I think that where these two sides kind of met in the middle here is the Steelers said, we'll give you the guaranteed money that you want if you're willing to meet us where we're at with the length of the extension. So instead of a 4-year deal that keeps him here in Pittsburgh for the next 5 years, it's a 3-year extension that keeps him here the next 4 years through the 2028 season. This now makes T.J. Watt the highest paid edge rusher and highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the National Football League, even though he is now on the other side of 30 years old as a speed rusher. We'll talk about what that means here later in the show, but $41 million APY. Now, when you include the current year he has on his current contract, the APY is actually just above $36 million, all right? So this is obviously still a massive deal, but the $41 million, that's not over the next 4 years. That's $41 million the 3 years once the extension kicks in. And T.J. Watt, plain and simply, guys, has been the most valuable player on the Pittsburgh Steelers for a very long time. And in my opinion, he has held up this organization despite the fact that they have had some really bad quarterback and offensive play. You guys can see when T.J. Watt has been on the field in his career, the Steelers win 2/3 of their games. The offense plays better. The defense gives up a touchdown less per game. The sacks go up dramatically, and the turnovers go up dramatically as well. And that's because he consistently demands double teams, and not only does he get sack production, but he's also a great run defender and gets TFL production, but then he also gets turnover production with the forced fumbles and interceptions he's able to create as well. And over the last 3 seasons, guys, the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, as you guys can see, has been absolute dog crap, and in all 3 of these seasons, they had above 500 records, all right? 2022, they were 8-2 when T.J. Watt was on the field, and he wasn't injured that season with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, right? And then you got 2023 and 2024, both seasons you finished with double-digit wins despite having some of the worst offensive production in the National Football League, and that is because of the impact that T.J. Watt brings to the Steelers defense, all right? I can't stress enough how much elite talent elevates the entire group, and, you know, the Steelers do have a very talented defense outside of T.J. Watt, but Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, all the Minkah Fitzpatrick when he was still with this team, right? All those guys were elevated by the fact that T.J. Watt was putting quick pressure on quarterbacks and that teams were so afraid of losing the football and getting sacked and, you know, all these different things that T.J. Watt was bringing to the table that it made every single person better. And now you get the benefit of that on this defense for at least the next 4 seasons. And, you know, now that you're bringing in some new offensive talent, right? You're bringing in Aaron Rodgers, you're bringing in Jonnu Smith, you're bringing in Caleb Johnson in the NFL draft. Hopefully this year on offense, he's going to have a little bit more help than he's had in years past. And I think if T.J. Watt does get some help, you know, that 0-4 playoff record, I think, is going to get a little bit better, you know, on this contract than what it looks like at the start of this contract. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Grade the extension for me. me down there in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now, I do want to say here, guys, $108 million fully guaranteed at signing. That is most of this contract. Means that TJ Watt is pretty much forced to be on this roster for the next 4 seasons, and he's going to pretty much play out the rest of this contract unless he ends up getting traded at some point in time. The Steelers are making a very, very significant commitment to TJ, and TJ obviously wants to be here in Pittsburgh, which is why he wanted all the guarantees, because he didn't want to, be cut all of a sudden. He wants to be here for the next 4 years. And I will say that it is a little bit of a risk because he does have a little bit of an injury history. And as we know, as edge rushers get older, the chances of major injury increase. And just over the last 3 seasons, guys, he had that torn pectoral muscle and he had arthroscopic surgery on his knee in 2022. He missed, I believe it was 7 games that season. And the Steelers went 1-6 in those 7 games, by the way. Then 2023, he had that MCL sprain at the end of the season where he missed the playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. And then 2024, he had that Week 15 ankle sprain where he had, I think, a grand total of 0 sacks the rest of the season. And the Steelers didn't win a football game after he suffered that ankle sprain. So you can look at the last 3 seasons here, guys, and you can point to a TJ Watt injury being a big reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers season was over, and the fact that he has gotten injured the last 3 years certainly puts a damper on this contract, especially if he tears his ACL or if he has a torn Achilles and you have all that guaranteed money on this deal. So it certainly is a risk. And then there's also another element to risk here, which is just the age regression, right? He's going to be 30 years old this year, and he is predominantly a speed rusher, all right? So he really does depend on that first step explosiveness, his athleticism, to be able to threaten the corner and, threaten offensive tackles in that way. And, he has been one of the most productive edge rushers in the league over the last several years, including in his late 20s, because of that, right? 19 sacks in 2023, had an 11.5 last year, all before Week 15. So he's definitely, to this point, he's been an elite pass rusher. But, if he loses a little bit of that first step explosiveness, if he loses a little bit of that bend and he's not able to win with true speed the way that he has throughout his entire career, it's going to, maybe make this contract look a little worse than what it looks like compared to his production in previous seasons. But I don't want to make it seem like I'm not happy that this deal got done. I think that, the Pittsburgh Steelers needed TJ Watt on this football team to accomplish their short-term goals. And this team has certainly made it a priority here to maintain their star level talent and then add new talent this offseason, bringing in DK Metcalf, bringing in Jonnu Smith, bringing in Jalen Ramsey, bringing in Aaron Rodgers. All right, this is a win now mindset that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going down. And as we've discussed on this channel ad nauseum, you cannot win a Super Bowl this year, at least not in my opinion, without TJ Watt on the roster. The Steelers understood this. TJ Watt understood this, which is why he knew he had a lot of leverage in this situation. And because of that leverage, TJ Watt was pretty much able to get everything that he wanted in this contract. I think the one thing TJ probably didn't get on this contract is he probably wanted 4 years on the extension, not 3. But he ended up getting 3. And of course, I don't think he's going to sneeze at the $108 million fully guaranteed at signing. That is an astronomical number. So it's definitely a little bit of a risk here for the Pittsburgh Steelers because TJ is getting older and, he does have a little bit of an injury history, and that's a lot of fully guaranteed money. So if TJ gets hurt, if he regresses, if any of that stuff happens, the Steelers are probably going to end up regretting making this decision. But if he plays, and he plays as well as he has over the last several seasons, this is a contract and this is a decision from the Pittsburgh Steelers that could absolutely pay off, especially in the short term. I'm really hoping he can stay healthy this year and in the following years. And if that happens, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have a chance to be very successful in the years to come. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section, and show some love to TJ Watt, man. I know he hasn't gotten it done in the postseason yet, but there's no doubt about it. He has been able to do some really special things in a Steelers uniform to this point in his career. Now it's time to go get those playoff victories with Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf in town. If you're with me on that, spam those 90s down there in the comments section. That'll be it for our instant reaction video to the TJ Watt record-breaking contract extension here, guys. I'm very excited about the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Training camp starts exactly a week from now. I'm going to be in Latrobe. It's going to be absolutely fantastic next weekend, guys. So click that subscribe button for all of our training camp coverage and all throughout the 2025 season.